Well, we've once again made it to the end of the week, and any of you that follow along on this channel know what time it is. This is now episode 6 of Your Take Not Mine, a series I started where once a week I turn to you, the viewers, to give me your hottest takes around the NBA world, and I pick my favorite submissions and give you my honest thoughts on the subject. It's a fun way for me to interact with you, the viewers, and on either Thursday or Friday, I make a community post for you to make the submissions like the one you see on your screen now. So be sure to be on the lookout for them in the future if you want a chance to be picked for a video. Before we start though, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as all support is very much appreciated. Now with that being said, let's begin. The first take we'll be discussing comes to us from Choi Chang-jun, and he says that Bam Adebayo is a top 3 center in the league, behind Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid. So like he said, it's pretty obvious that Jokic and Embiid are the two best players at the center position, and that debate between those two is a completely different discussion altogether. But after that, it does become very interesting regarding who gets that number 3 spot. Prior to this season, and everything that happened to shape the way we now see certain players, Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert were probably in that second tier of centers vying for the spot, but Bam's emergence definitely makes the choice a lot more difficult. Towns is arguably the most gifted offensive player at the center position right now because of his elite shooting ability from the perimeter, nice touch around the basket, and his ability to score from the post, making it so difficult to shut him down because of his ability to score in so many different ways. Gobert, on the flip side, is in the conversation because of his contributions to the defensive end of the floor, winning Defensive Player of the Year twice, protecting the rim as well as anybody, and impacting a lot of what the Jazz do to be successful. The reason why I'm actually very inclined to agree with Bam getting the nod ahead of them both, though, is the fact that he produces at a high level on both ends of the floor. His defense is also all defense worthy, and he very well could be in the Defensive Player of the Year discussion in coming years, and offensively, he's so incredibly versatile with his passing ability out of the high post and his soft touch around the basket to score in pick and roll situations. He's already helped his team accomplish more in the postseason than either of the other two as well, so while I can't fully commit to saying he is better, I can't really say I disagree with the take either. The next one we'll be discussing comes to us from Bryce, and he says that the Wizards will be a top 5 team in the East with a healthy John Wall and Bradley Beal next season. This one's tough for a variety of reasons, and I'm going to get into every reason I'm skeptical. To start with the obvious one, Wall is coming back from a very serious injury that held him out for the entirety of this past season, and there's absolutely no guarantee he returns to all-star form. If the Wizards want to make the playoffs at all, let alone be that high of a seed, they will need Wall to be playing his best basketball, which is such a tough thing to expect after injuries like this. Another reason I disagree with this take is that 2 years ago in 2018, which was the last time the Wizards made the playoffs, they were only the 8th seed. And from then to now, a ton of teams in the East have improved. Plus, that Wizards team had a much stronger supporting cast than the Wizards do today, which will make it even more difficult for them. Players like Otto Porter, Kelly Oubre, Markieff Morris, Thomas Satoransky, and Marcin Gortat were all very good role players from the 2018 Wizards team that are gone now, and now the Wizards have an incredibly young, inexperienced roster that doesn't quite seem ready to contend. Thomas Bryant, Rui Hachimura, Jerome Robinson, and Troy Brown all have potential, but that's not enough support for John Wall and Bradley Beal, and Davis Bertans may leave in free agency to make things even worse. Could they make the playoffs? Sure, I wouldn't count them out completely. However, them finishing top 5 in the conference just doesn't seem plausible. The next take we'll be discussing comes to us from Henry, and he says that Anthony Davis was better than LeBron James this year. The season's over, the Lakers are back on top of the NBA world, and of course with anything LeBron James is involved in, it's going to come with a level of debate, even when he's on top. Him and Davis were an elite duo this season that proved to be too much for opponents to stop, but regarding which was the better of the two is a conversation I guess is worth having. In the regular season, Davis slightly outscored LeBron and grabbed more rebounds than him, while finishing as a runner-up for the Defensive Player of the Year award. But LeBron led the NBA in assists per game, and virtually every advanced metric showed that the Lakers were better with LeBron on the floor than they were with Davis on the floor, suggesting that LeBron was the driving force of a lot of their success. However, in the playoffs, those metrics definitely balanced out, which makes it that much more difficult of a choice. LeBron did take home the Finals MVP though, and I do believe it was deserved on his end, so I feel confident choosing LeBron as the better player, because he's probably still the best player in the world if we're being honest. He had an incredibly strong showing in the finals where he showed that he could still do it all, and the hardware backs it up. The next take we'll be discussing comes to us from M. Jones, and they say that Steph Curry will finish as a top 10 player of all time when his career ends. Steph Curry's legacy is highly controversial in the eyes of many NBA fans, but in general, his greatness is tough to deny. He's the best shooter of the basketball the league has ever seen, he's a 3-time NBA champion, and a 2-time winner of the MVP award, and the amount of players that have a resume like that is very limited. Where he ranks all time, though, is a very difficult discussion. Right now, I would not have Curry in my top 10. I've got him just shy in the 11 to 15 range, probably closer to 15. I won't get into my entire list, as that will probably be the topic of a video sometime down the line, but Curry still needs more to crack the top 10, where all of the best players of all time currently rank. Before I place Curry in the top 10 in the history of the NBA, he probably needs to add a ring where he gets crowned the Finals MVP to his resume, because despite being a 3-time NBA champion, there's other factors that downplay that feat way too much, including getting outplayed by Kevin Durant 2 years in a row on the way to fairly easy championships, and in 2015, going up against a depleted Cavaliers roster where Iguodala took home the Finals MVP award for his work slowing down LeBron. Curry's 32 years old, so he still has many years of basketball left to add to his resume, but nothing's guaranteed, so I personally don't see him cracking the top 10. And finally, the last take we'll be discussing comes to us from Jacob, and he says that Jason Tatum is better than Kyrie Irving right now. Just 1 year ago, these two were teammates and it ended in complete dysfunction, and from there, Kyrie has continued to have a rough go of things. Injuries have derailed him constantly, his leadership has constantly been brought into question, and his production has felt a bit hollow. Tatum, meanwhile, had a pretty huge coming out party this season as a legitimate star in the league. He's impactful on both ends of the floor, he's got a deep scoring package with the ability to knock down some incredibly difficult shots consistently, and most importantly, he stays efficient while doing so. However, while healthy, all of this with the scoring also applies to Kyrie Irving, who arguably has the best handles in the NBA and is ridiculously tough to stop one-on-one, while also flirting with the 50-40-90 club on a year-to-year basis. Because of his injury struggles over the last few years and lack of meaningful production compared to Tatum coming off of a conference finals appearance, I would give Tatum the slight edge at the moment, but the Nets are looking like they'll be a top team next season, and Kyrie's contributions to that could put him back ahead in a year's time. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below your thoughts on the topics discussed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.